Donald Trump is now calling for Democratic lawmakers to be killed. Is Donald Trump a school shooter type? Because Trump has many times before said if he was ever near a school shooting, he would be the first person running in to save the children. None of us believed that. We believed he'd be the guy running away. But is it more accurate to say Trump is more the school shooter type? Let me explain what I mean. Trump is now calling for Democrats to be executed, not censured, not defeated, not voted out, killed, okay? And it all started with this video of Democrats, including veterans, warning U.S. service members, you should be prepared not to follow an unlawful order from Donald Trump. Not ignore anything Trump says. Okay, this is like a critical thing. Not ignore anything Trump says. If there is an unlawful order, you should be prepared not to follow it. Here's what they had to say.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military,
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army.
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
This is the message, the direct message from these members of Congress that set Trump off in the following way. Trump posting to Truth Social in response to this message, quote, "This is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors, lock them up." And then Trump following that up with another post, seditious behavior punishable by death. Now, not that the facts really matter to a lot of these people, but the maximum punishment under the actual sedition statute is 20 years. It doesn't actually include death, but who cares? The more important part is that these Democrats are correct. Members of the military are legally required to refuse certain orders. If you look at Article 92 of the UCMJ, the Code of Military Justice, and longstanding military law, they must not obey orders that, number one, clearly violate U.S. law or the Constitution. For example, if the president says to the troops, start massacring civilians, or orders summary executions, or orders the military to overturn an election, those are clearly illegal orders. And the Code of Military Justice says those orders should not be followed. These lawmakers are correct. Trump is wrong. If the president makes an order that is outside of his or her authority, like commanding state National Guard units without proper federalization, by the way, Trump has done it, or ordering the military to violate posse comitatus, they're supposed to say no. If the president orders troops to violate international law, for example, something that violates the Geneva Convention or the War Crimes Act or the International Law of Armed Conflict, they are supposed to say no. And one of the things that we now understand is that service members who obey unlawful orders can be criminally liable. Courts for decades, especially after Nuremberg, have said, I was simply following orders is not a defense for war crimes and for certain other crimes. So the Democrats who said, do not follow illegal orders, are not being seditious. They are telling us what is the law. And that is the law. Trump hears it and fantasizes about the execution of these members of the House and Senate. Forget about this is a normal political response. This is not a normal human response. And by the way, check out MAGA Mike Johnson's shriveled, flaccid, cowardly response when confronted about this.
What I read was he was defining the crime of sedition. Okay, I don't. That is a factual statement, but obviously attorneys have to parse the language and determine all that. What I'm saying,
understand that Mike Johnson is saying, well, lawyers would have to look at whether we could put these lawmakers to death. Trump was just stating what the law is. Of course, Trump was misstating it, but of course, lawmakers saying you must not follow unlawful orders is not seditious.
I will say unequivocally, that was a wildly inappropriate thing for so-called leaders in Congress to do, to encourage young troops to disobey orders. I mean, think of what the threat that is to our national security and what it means to our institutions.
Now, notice that MAGA Mike is missing a word there. He says telling our troops to ignore orders, which is not what those Democrats were saying. Those Democrats were saying you not only should, but are required not to follow unlawful orders, and that is the law. And I suspect that MAGA Mike Johnson knows that.
We have got to raise the bar in Congress. This is out of control and is wildly inappropriate. And for a senator like Mark Kelly or any member of Congress in the House or Senate to be engaging in that kind of talk is to me just so beyond the pale.
These people are truly pathetic. The lawmakers were correctly communicating the law. Trump was not. Trump was issuing extrajudicial threats. And the Speaker of the House of Representatives doesn't even have the gall and the audacity and the strength to just say, you know, sedition is not punishable by death, and troops do have a responsibility not to follow unlawful orders. He can't even do that because he's pathetic. Donald Trump has already packed his second-term cabinet with loyalists. He's threatened deportation as political punishment. He's expanded executive authority in ways we have not seen in modern history. These are real changes that are happening right now. And what's even more alarming is that a lot of the media is either glossing over the worst of it or they're reframing it so it all sounds a little more palatable. And that is why I use Ground News. This is a news comparison tool. Doesn't just feed you headlines. It shows you here's how different outlets, left, right, center, are covering the same story. And this is one of the few tools I know of that can really help you detect the political spin, the bias, catch stories that your usual sources might downplay or not cover at all, on everything from immigration policy to economic shifts. If you want to get a bigger picture, a broader picture of what's being reported, Ground News is an invaluable source to keep you informed. And Ground News is offering my audience 40% off their top tier Vantage plan. You'll only pay $5 a month. Go to ground.news/Pakman or enter the code Pakman in the app to get started. The link is in the description.